Right now, while almost everyone in crypto is quietly panicking, one man is doing the exact opposite. He is buying Ethereum. Not a little, not carefully. He is trying to buy 5% of the entire network. 1/20th of all the Ethereum that exists pulled into a single company. And he is doing it in the middle of the worst stretch Ethereum has ever had. His name is Tom Lee, and depending on who you ask, he is either the last honest bull on Wall Street or a man calmly walking into the ocean, insisting the tide is about to come back in. By the end of this, you're going to have to decide which one you think he is. Because the case for genius and the case for disaster are built out of the exact same facts. Let me tell you who we're actually talking about, because it matters. Tom Lee spent years as a top strategist on Wall Street before co-founding a research firm called Fundstrat. If you've ever watched financial news, you've seen him. He's the calm, smiling guy who kept predicting Bitcoin would go higher when everyone else was calling it dead, and who was frequently annoyingly right. He built a reputation as the permabull who somehow kept getting away with it. And now, he has taken that reputation and bet the whole thing on Ethereum through a company called BitMine. Here's what BitMine has done, and the numbers are genuinely staggering. As of this month, the company holds around 5.74 million Ether. That is roughly 4.8% of every Ethereum in existence. Their total pile, crypto plus cash, sits somewhere near $11 billion. And Lee has been openly clear about the target. He calls it the 5% alchemy. The idea that if you can quietly accumulate 1/20th of an entire network, something almost magical happens to your position. You stop being just an investor in Ethereum. You become a load-bearing part of it. And why 5% specifically? Because that's roughly the level where a holder stops being a passenger and starts being part of the engine. At that size, your staking helps secure the network, your validators help decide which transactions go through, and your very presence becomes a kind of confidence signal to everyone else. It's a reflexive bet. The more of the network you own and help run, the more indispensable you become, and the more indispensable you are, the more the market has to take you seriously. Lee isn't just trying to own Ethereum. He's trying to make BitMine impossible to separate from it, and he isn't just letting it sit there. Over 80% of that Ether is staked, locked into Ethereum's network through BitMine's own validators, earning a yield. Think of staking like this. Instead of leaving your money in a checking account doing nothing, you put it to work helping run the network, and the network pays you for it. So, BitMine isn't only betting the price of Ethereum goes up, it's also collecting a steady stream of new Ether on top, like rent on an asset they believe is about to be revalued. On paper, it's elegant. You buy the thing pays you to hold it, and you use what it pays you to buy even more of the thing. And it goes deeper than money. Lee's BitMine, along with another big holder called SharpLink, recently helped fund a new independent Ethereum research lab, backed alongside Joe Lubin. Now, Joe Lubin is not a random name. He is one of the original co-founders of Ethereum itself, and he runs Consensus, one of the most important companies in the entire ecosystem. So this isn't some outsider throwing money at a ticker. Lee has effectively locked arms with Ethereum royalty. He's funding the researchers, he's running the validators, he's holding 5% of the supply. He is trying to become part of the foundation of the thing he's betting on. So, that's the bull case. And honestly, when you lay it out like that, it's seductive. Here is a proven forecaster, arm in arm with a co-founder, accumulating a network at what he believes is a generational discount, and getting paid to wait. He keeps using phrases like crypto spring and the best years for crypto are still ahead. He talks about an Ethereum supercycle. If he's right, people will tell this story for a decade. They'll call it one of the great contrarian bets of the era. But now I have to turn the card over, because there's another way to read every single one of those facts, and it's a lot less comfortable. Start with the timing. Lee is buying into what is, statistically, the worst period in Ethereum's history. Ethereum just posted 3 losing quarters in a row for the first time ever. Down roughly 28%, then 29%, then 25%. 3 brutal quarters stacked back to back. The token that once dreamed of flipping Bitcoin is trading down around $1,700, a fraction of its former glory. The Ethereum ETFs just had one of their worst months on record. This is not a market gently coiling before a spring. This is a market that has been bleeding for the better part of a year. And into that, Lee is pouring billions. Now here's the part that should make you sit up, because if you watched my last video, you've heard this song before. What Lee has built is structurally very close to what Michael Saylor built with Bitcoin. A public company that raises money, buys a single crypto asset, and trades at a premium to the coins it holds. And that model has a beautiful side and a brutal side. On the way up, it's a flywheel. The stock trades above the value of its crypto, so the company issues shares, buys more ether, the story gets bigger, the stock climbs, repeat. But the moment that premium flips, the exact same machine runs in reverse. If BitMine's stock ever falls below the value of the Ethereum it holds, that magic money printer becomes a trap. Saylor is living that reality right now, being forced to sell the thing he swore he'd never sell. Lee is building the same kind of engine, just bolted onto a more volatile asset. And the staking yield, the part that sounds so clever. It's real, but it's small compared to the price swings. Earning a few % a year in staking rewards is cold comfort when the underlying asset can drop 25% in a single quarter. The yield is a gentle breeze. The price is a hurricane. If Ethereum keeps sliding, no amount of staking rent saves the position. You're just collecting pennies while the dollars evaporate. So, here's where I actually land, and you're completely free to disagree. I don't think Tom Lee is a fraud, and I don't think Ethereum is going to zero. I think he might genuinely be right about the long arc, that in 5 years Ethereum could be dramatically higher, and this looks like a masterstroke. But being right eventually and being solvent in the meantime are 2 very different things. The graveyard of finance is full of people who were correct about the destination and got destroyed by the road. Conviction feels powerful, it photographs well, it makes for great television. But conviction is not a hedge. When you build a leveraged position on top of the single most volatile major asset in the market, you are not just betting on being right. You are betting on being right before the math runs out of patience. What makes this so fascinating is that it's a genuine philosophical split, playing out in real time, with billions of real dollars. On one side, Saylor, retreating, forced to sell his sacred Bitcoin to keep the lights on. On the other, Lee, advancing, buying 5% of Ethereum into its darkest quarter. One of these men is going to look like a prophet in a few years, and one is going to be a cautionary tale in a business school textbook. And the maddening, wonderful truth is that right now, today, we genuinely cannot tell you which is which. So, watch what happens next. If Ethereum finally turns and that supercycle Lee keeps promising actually shows up, his 5% alchemy becomes a legend, and every skeptic like me quietly deletes their tweets. But if these red quarters stretch into a red year, if that premium on BitMine stock ever cracks the way Saylor's did, then this bold accumulation becomes a slow-motion margin call, and the best years are ahead ages very, very badly. The difference between the genius and the cautionary tale isn't the strategy, it's the timing, and nobody, not Tom Lee, not me, not anyone, controls that. If you want the honest version of these stories, the machine underneath the headline, before everyone else is talking about it, this is the channel for that. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.